Good day, and welcome to today's Green Battery Minerals, Inc. as part of the Planet MicroCap Showcase. It is now my pleasure to turn your floor over to your host, President and CEO, Tom Yingling of Green Battery Minerals, Inc.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, today for your time. I do appreciate you taking time on your busy schedule to come listen to about a very exciting opportunity that's in front of you here. Green Battery Minerals is dialed in to capitalize on the growth of the lithium-ion battery minerals. And one of our main ones is graphite. So I'll get right into the presentation because I know you're all busy schedules here. So we have the slide which keep all of the lawyers and the tables happy. We'll move past that one. So Green Battery Minerals' mission statement: to become one of the North America's largest producers of clean, environmentally friendly, high-quality anode materials to be used in batteries for electric vehicles and renewable energy storage. So that pretty much sums up what our mandate and mission is. By the way, I'll answer questions at the end of the presentation as well, too, please. So if you can write them down and I'll review them at the end. So what does this mean? We're just moving the slide. And why invest in Green Battery Minerals? There's several reasons. We have a proven graphite discovery next door to a graphite mine that's being built already. That's Mason Graphite. You may have heard of them. The key thing here is it's the same management that discovered Mason's mine that have left them and coming and working with us, and we're on track to do it again. We're basically repeating the success. Lithium-ion battery demand for graphite is growing at an enormous rate, especially with electric vehicle demand surging. Not just electric vehicles, but also battery storage. But every time you turn the radio on, the newspaper, articles, TV, it's all about electric vehicles growing exponentially. The company is creating a test battery from our graphite to prove to the world that it's the perfect kind of graphite for the anode material in a lithium-ion battery. Graphite is not a rare mineral. Lots of people think it might be, but it's not. The key is to have the right kind of graphite to go into the anode. Much like Diamond said, if you have a 10-carat diamond in one hand, you need the color and clarity for it to be valuable. Graphite is very similar. You need the grade and the metallurgy to be present for it to be extremely valuable. One of the nice things we have when working in Northern Quebec is we have the excellent infrastructure, including cheap hydroelectric power, which is also green energy, which is one of the things that's very important to us. In fact, it's right in our name, Green Battery Minerals. We have multiple shipping ports on the St. Lawrence, which is key because you want to be able to deliver your product to the world. And with the St. Lawrence River being in place, it's all set up, and we can literally drive on a highway, which we'll get into a bit later on. And of course, the company is strict standards of ESG compliance, environmental, social, and government compliance, which is very important these days. Employees are a company's competitive advantage, and our team has found, built, and operated mines before, which is really rare in the mineral sector. Having been in mining for over just under 30 years now, our group has discovered, run, or sold over 16 mines, which is extremely rare in the mineral sector. This doesn't mean you can't make money by discovering a mine, but it's very rare for a team to have numerous projects of success under their belt. And we're on track. Here's a list of them, as you can see, throughout the world, including Canada, Mexico, Bolivia, and different commodities. And of course, the key here is the main team that's with us now. They discovered, built, and sold Mason's graphite deposit, which is next door. So we're on track to do it again. And so far, we are repeating that success. The company is very strict on its ESG standards. We want to make sure that we adhere to environmental concerns and the social awareness as well, too, with human capital and diversity, and, of course, the governments as well, too. So we're very focused on that. As you can tell, obviously, with a name like Green Battery, it's very, very important to us. Okay, we move to the next slide. And this is something that sort of touch base that not everyone's aware of. A lot of people, when I first got started in the graphite sector 5-6 years ago, people were like, "You're getting involved in mining pencil? Like, that doesn't sound very interesting." And what they don't know, or people are realizing now, is that it's the anode material. And if you look at Elon Musk, he says our cells should be called nickel graphite because primarily the cathode is nickel and the anode side is graphite with silicon oxide. There's a little bit of lithium there, like the salt in a salad. So once people realize that that you are actually putting the anode material into a battery, it changed quite considerable. It's rare to find that, and that's what we're exploring and that's what we're developing. Getting involved in the company structure. this slide is slightly out of date because we just closed a private placement about a day or two ago. We added 10 million more shares on here. So we'll be sitting with about 47 million shares outstanding, which is still relatively small and fully cashed up. And we'll be going into our summer drill program here, which I'll touch base on here in a little bit. So if you do a quick comparison about some other Quebec graphite companies, there's three that really stand out. Two in particular. Mason Graphite is our neighbor, and they've got a $75 million market cap. Nouveau Monde, who just moved to the New York Stock Exchange, they have a $510 million market cap. And then lo and behold, little old Green Battery Minerals here, we have roughly an only $8 million market cap. And we are extremely undervalued, and my job here is to show you guys exactly why. Here we've got a chart, and it's a comparison. If you look at the bottom, Birkwood, that's the name of our project in Green Battery Minerals. It's the Berkwood Graphite project. And if you look at Mason and you look at Focus, NMG is Nouveau Monde, who I mentioned in the previous slide, and Syrah. And the red at the front represents these numbers on the side here, 20 by 50. They're basically the flake size. Once again, as I was saying, the larger the flake, the more valuable it is, right to the back where it's smaller. And if you look at our Birkwood project and you look at Mason project, they pretty much are identical. And the reason why they look identical is because they are. Millions of years ago, when the graphite was in place, it was laid down in a sedimentary sort of basin, if you will. And then that was pushed together and it buckled. One of the buckles outcropped on Mason's property, and one of the other buckles outcropped on Green Battery Minerals property. So and then of course we, as later on, millions of years later, put a claim line down the middle of them. So it's not similar graphite, it's identical because it is the same. It was put down in place many, many years ago. And once again, we've done 4 drill programs on the property. So a lot of the mystery and a lot of risk has been mitigated. We have a proven resource on it. We have roughly 550 tons of indicated and inferred graphite, and some of the highest percentage and highest grades of graphite out there from any graphite deposit pretty much in the world, except for Mason, because it's the same deposit. So it should be the same. Here's some very highlights which we've developed over the last 5 years. We have high-grade graphite, 17 to 25% on average. If you do a comparison to, say, some of our peers, which we mentioned earlier, that have 4%, it just means that they have to remove 4 to 5 times as much rock to get the same amount of graphite that we get out. Jumbo, sort of 70 to 80% resource is large to jumbo flake size. Once again, that just means it's worth more. The economics are stunning at that point. Metallurgical tests easily to 97.8% graphite, and it's easily purified to 99.95% using a standard alkaline process. Without getting super technical, what this just means is there's no hydrofluoric acid that's needed. Majority of the world's anode graphite comes from China right now, and then it's shipped everywhere else. So they use hydrofluoric acid, which is nasty stuff on the environment, as well as the workers, as well as everybody else in the area. So as green as everyone thinks these batteries are, they're not. So we're very, very lucky and very, very proud that we can say we use a standard alkaline process to get it to 99.95% purity. Our project's located in Northern Quebec, which is one of the best mining districts in the world. We have infrastructure from dams, which gives us cheap green hydroelectric power. You can drive to the property, literally from Montreal, and drive to the property, stand on it, step out of your truck, and chip off graphite. It's right at surface. And we have the ports, railway, and workforce close by to support it and run it, more importantly. We have 4 very successful drill programs to date. We've hit in every single hole. We have year-round access. We have our project is on surface. Once again, they're like graphite mountaintops, if you will, which makes the economics stunning because your first shovel in the ground, you make money. The reclamation cost is low. Once again, they're better for the environment because we're not having to remove massive amounts of rock to get to the pay zone. Pay zone's at the surface. And we have 11 other outcrop locations on the property, which we are going to start exploring. And of course, zone number 6, which I'll detail later on, we're going to drill this coming summer. Large to jumbo large flake size, which will make spherical graphite using the batteries. It's very easily expandable, and we have a short fuse to production using a very simple mining process. The other thing that's good here is I got to give Mason props because they have done a lot of the heavy lifting for us, and they've done major engineering studies. They've got contracts with the First Nations in place. They've got contracts with the government, contacts with the local communities, and they are on track to go into production. They're building the mine. So we are basically drafting in behind a lot of their heavy lifting, because any one of those things could have killed the deal, and it hasn't. So we're pretty much lucky in the fact that they've done a lot of the heavy lifting, and we say we can draft behind. We have low costs, both the cap and operating. We have 550,000 tons already in the 43-101 resource estimate. Our drill program this summer is designed to expand that considerably, and I'll go into details on that in a bit. And we have an offtake agreement with a company called Carbon 6. So once we are ready to go into production, that they can sell it. Here's sort of a map to sort of show you where we are. We're in Northern Quebec. The St. Lawrence River gives us a seaport, and you can see Highway 389, which drives up north to the project. And all along these highways are dams, major hydroelectric dams. So they're maintained year-round, and which gives us access to our property, and without having to have helicopter support. You can literally drive from anywhere and get to the project and park right on top of it. The access is outstanding. And not only that, in the area, you've got shipping ports, because the St. Lawrence River there's three towns there which we could take the graphite to and ship it literally anywhere in the world. You've got a lot of logging that's going on there, so you can see these logging roads on the left-hand side we take full advantage of. There's trains and infrastructure. So, and not to mention the lower left picture here, this is one of the largest dams in the world, Manic 5, and it produces clean, green hydroelectric power for us. And once again, we're next door to a mine, so there's no better way. The old saying is the best place to look for mine is in the shadow of head frames, and that basically says where there's one mine, there's often more. And this is the same situation which we're seeing so far. We have the Birkwood project, which is adjacent to Mason. Mason has 10 million plus contained tons, and we have full advantage of taking advantage of what they've done to date, which is what I was mentioning earlier. They've done a lot of the heavy lifting for us, and they've done a great job. And it's the same graphite deposit. Just because we put a claim line down the middle doesn't make it any different, and that's what our whole point from the very beginning. And it so far been mirroring their deposit identically. And once again, we are committed to the ESG standards, so we will be making sure that we follow that. So in going forward, graphite is going to go up exponentially. Majority of that demand, as you see every time you turn the radio or TV on, is talking about electric vehicles and the demand for it. And we expect that to continue. So we will see over here in 2025, 26, 27, 28, that we will see that growth continue exponentially. And we don't see that slowing down at all. Okay, so here we've got showing you the percentage. On the right-hand side, you can see the value, and on the left-hand side, you can see jumbo flake or large flake. And what we've got here is the fact that the majority of our deposit is jumbo to large flake, which means you can sell out for more, which means it makes the economics stunning. The smaller stuff like the amorphous and the fine flake, it's not as valuable. It's worth a third as much and not as good. So we are very fortunate that we do have the large flake graphite because it's much more valuable. The robust metallurgy, as you can see, once again, we have very coarse and coarse flake, and that, once again, the availability of that is rare, and that's what makes our deposit so unique. And what we've got is jumbo and large, and by producing this, it will get us significantly more money, and that's the ultimate goal here. The economics are much better. Well, the slide here is the slide by Pro Graphite. They're a German engineering company, and what they did is they took our graphite, which we can get to 97.5% by just crushing and floating it, your basic graphite extraction to purify it, to get it out of the sort of ore, if you will. And what they did is they took it to 99.95% by using a standard alkaline process. And this process is important because batteries are very finicky. They don't like impurities. And so one of the two things is, A, you have to make sure your graphite can do that, and B, we use a standard alkaline process. Well, once again, as I was saying, in China, they use hydrofluoric acid, which is very nasty stuff, and it pollutes the environment. So we're very fortunate that we can do this clean and green, and that the graphite is actually ability to do that. Okay, this is a slide showing what we've explored to date. We have this is zone number 1. It's our first target that we drilled, and you can see we've only drilled on the left-hand side of it, and the purple area represents graphite. Every single drill that we put in there, we hit graphite, and as you can see, this graphite pops out from the geophysics quite well, and you can see that we have quite a bit of expansion we can do. And as I mentioned, we're going into the drill program this summer, and we will be drilling to the right and north, as you can see, as well as other zones, and we anticipate expanding our resource significantly more. This is a close-up of the same program, and you can see the white circles represent where the drill pad locations were, and the black lines represent the actual direction of the drill. And we've had, say, 4 drill programs over the past 5 years, and every single hole has intersected graphite. So our confidence in stepping the drill out and proving up more is extremely high. This is just a 3D model to just we've compiled all the drill locations together to get an idea of what the nature of this. It's not a simple deposit. It does fold and bend. As I said, this did get pushed to the surface on ours and as well as Mason. So there was some folding and quite a bit of activity going on it. Okay, so a little history. In 2002, there was a heli survey done to sort of see if there was anything that popped out, and then the airborne geophysical survey in 2014 identified several zones. 2017, 3 drill programs were done, 27 holes. Once again, every single hole hit graphite. And in 2018, we did a 3D model, as you can see, and we wanted to sort of start to work on towards the 43101 resource, which was 2019, and we've so far completed that. And we are moving forward now to, of course, expand that for us. We've got a 15-year mine life, and we're hoping to get that expanded up to 25. Okay, what we've got here is an aerial view of the project. We've got the trails are all, as you can see the lines there, and the circles are outcrops. Basically, this is an outcropping mountaintop of graphite, and we're going to move the drill to the right, as you can see where those pads are located, and we expect and anticipate to intersect more graphite as we move the drill, and then once again expand the resource from what is so-called now. We don't have a PEA yet. From what we've got so far with the inferred and indicated, we have about a 15-year mine life that we're hoping to expand up to 25 years. And confidence in doing so is pretty high because the geophysics so far have been very accurate. And we have other zones, which I'll get into, which we haven't drilled yet, but we've stood on and channel sampled graphite at. This is a close-up look of those outcrops. We've got several of them, as you can see, and with extremely high grades, 24 to 27%, so extremely high grade graphite right at surface. We scraped this off when we moved the drill rig from moving from one drill pad to the next, and basically created a mountaintop of graphite, if you will, and all of it is extremely high grade. What you've got here is a graphite road, if you will, a graphite mountaintop. And once again, we moved the drill pad from the top to the bottom. And in doing so, we scraped off the snow. And lo and behold, there was this huge graphite mountaintop right at surface. And the slide on the right-hand side, you can see there's a crack, but it's not a crack. It's what's called channel sampling. And we get a diamond blade and we cut down it. It's sort of like doing a drill into the ground, but instead of, because we're at surface, we don't need to figure out, is it graphite, because we've already chipped it off, we can see it, and we can channel sample this, and once again, it shows extremely high-grade graphite right at surface. The economics are stunning on this deposit, much like Mason's graphite. There's outcrops as well, too, and it's all similar grade. So we're just, once again, drafting in behind what Mason's been doing. This is sort of a spoken model hub. As you can see, zone number 6 is in the center, and we have numerous other properties that we will be exploring and adding to our tonnage. The idea would be to put the plant in zone number 1 and then do the mining on the other zones, crush it, bring it over, and then process it on zone number 1. This is zone number 6, one of the ones that we hope to drill this summer. As you can see, more channel sampling. So It's not, is there graphite? Are we going to find anything? We already know it's there because we've already channel sampled it, and it's extremely good grade. So in moving forward into that drill program, our confidence is extremely high because, once again, we've already channel sampled the surface of it, and not only is it graphite, it's extremely good graphite. So we're pleased about that. And this is zone number 6. As you can see on the right-hand, the geophysical anomaly represents the graphite. So on the right-hand side, you can see the black lines. That's where we've channel sampled and got, once again, outstanding graphite. And this is quite a large anomaly. So we're anticipating, and some of this is high grade, up to 45% graphite. So it's extremely good quality. And by drilling this, it will add considerable tonnage to the resource estimate. And once again, it's not a matter of is there graphite there. We've already sampled it, so we know it's there. We've mitigated 100% of the risk, to be honest. And this is sort of looking back at it towards from an aerial, from a drone. In the foreground, you can see a truck on the road, and then there's like a dirt path, if you will. That's actually a previous road that was built a long time ago. And then in the red circle is where we've done the channel sampling. So once again, another graphite mountaintop, if you will. So and with great infrastructure. So once again, it's very rare to be able to drive right to your project. Now, what with this slide here details is the value. Because we have such large flake, jumbo and large flake graphite, we're sitting at around 2,000 roughly per ton. That's the selling price for the large, not necessarily ours, but for a large jumbo flake graphite. That's what the market is right now. If you sphericalize that, it bumps it up to 3,000 per ton. And if you coat that, it bumps it up to 7,500 per ton. Without getting too technical, you're basically adding value. You're making it so it's the perfect anode material, and it needs to be coated. Batteries are finicky. They don't like to be drained unless they're coated. So what happens is they will oxidize, and if the oxidation occurs, then it doesn't hold a charge as long or quickly. So you want to have that coated sphericalized graphite. And that's what we'll be doing, working towards over the next 6 months to 2 years. And over the next 6 months, we're building a test battery as we speak with our graphite, making the anode part of it. Pro Graphite out of Germany is doing that for us. We are going to do a drill program on zone number 6 and probably expand zone number 1. The idea is to expand the resource. The 2-year plan is to continue with the offtakes and hopefully eventually go into production or sell the whole project, one of the two. That's what we're on track to do so far. So why invest in green battery minerals? Once again, we have a proven major graphite discovery next door to a graphite mine. That's Mason. Mason is going into production. They've done all the heavy lifting for us. I can't give them enough kudos because they did a great job. They've done the First Nations, the local communities are on side, government's on side. So they've done a lot of the heavy lifting. I say in 30 years of involved in the mining sector, I've seen a lot of good projects die when any one of those doesn't work. You can find a spotted owl on your property or something, and it's game over. It's the same management that discovered Mason's mine that working with us. It's the exact same guys, and we're doing it, just basically repeating the whole thing all over again. The lithium-ion battery demand for graphite is growing at an enormous rate, especially with electrical vehicles. We are creating a test battery to prove to the world that we have the right kind of graphite, and that's key. We have excellent infrastructure, including cheap, clean hydroelectric power, multiple shipping points to deliver graphite to the world, and we are road accessible, literally road accessible. You can drive a car or truck, park it on top of our property, and sample graphite. So there's no other project like this that have mitigated so much risk, so we're very fortunate. And that's my presentation. Thank you. Okay, we have some questions here. What some of the company's growth drivers moving forward? Definitely the drill program. We already have a proven resource, so we are going to expand that drill program. We're going to take what we've done in zone number 1 and move the drill out and continue to add to that. We've hit every single hole. Everywhere we've drilled on those purple anomalies, we've hit graphite, and you can see the significant growth on that. Also, zone number 6. We know it's graphite because we've sampled it, have not drilled it yet. So, and it's a massive geophysical target, of which we've channel sampled, and it is graphite. There's no mystery there. There's no possible graphite. We know it is. So that's real growth moving forward is the fact that we will expand the resource. What is the plan of action to become North America's largest producer of clean materials? Well, that's a big statement. That would take a while. Basically, we're focusing on the graphite for now. We're repeating what Mason's done next door, and the idea is to continue on that path and try and do what they've done. Once again, I can't give them enough goodwill. They've done a great job. They've done the heavy lifting, the expensive engineering reports. First Nations are on side. The government is on side. Local communities are on side. And so that's essentially what's going forward. We just completed private placement. Someone asked, has management taken part in the last BP? We did do some of the most recent one, and we did a lot of the one before, the one that was done at Christmas time when we first sort of restructured the company. So yeah, management has. Has the Canadian government acknowledged the work in Vision of Green Battery Minerals Inc. and the global push for clean energy? Are there incentives for the company? The Canadian government is starting to, particularly in Quebec. There's certain perks that working in Quebec you get. And that's just why we think Quebec is one of the most awesome places to work in. And there's tax incentives. We work in an area called Côte du Nord, which is in the northern part of the province, and it's refreshing. They will allow you to not do what you want, but they don't get in your way as much like some places. So it's primarily a lot of hydroelectric power is done up there, a lot of forestry is done up there, and a lot of mining. So in the Côte du Nord area, they kind of let you do that past a certain parallel. So we're very fortunate to have that, and there are also some very good tax incentives working in the province as well too. So it's a great place to work, not only resource-wise, but so many other reasons as well too, right? And of course, we're connected right across to the States over the St. Lawrence River, so we have access to not just producing the graphite for the big 4 car manufacturers and trucks, but we can also ship it to the world at St. Lawrence. So we have quite a few perks. It's a fantastic area to work in. And the project, once again, we're very lucky. We've done a lot of work, but all we're doing, this is why I like this project, all we're doing is repeating what Mason did with the exact same team. And there's no surprise that what we're doing is exactly what they did, because it's the exact same project, just a plain border down the middle. Any other questions? Okay, I am assuming that must be over. Thank you all for your time and attention in listening to this today. If I missed any of your questions, they will be replied to in an email. And I thank you once again for your time and attention. Consider investing in green battery minerals. Thank you.